Hey everybody, welcome to episode 110 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Tithe Ben. How you doing, BT?
Hello, doing good. Pour myself a big drink for today's discussion.
Oh, it is going to be a spicy one. And here to be essentially our moral referee, as ever, is Ian Triple Power Triplo. Trips, how you doing today?
Evening, both. I'm not sure I can promise to be completely referee, but I will do my best to try and bring some balance and at least some use of appropriate language.
Ah, yes, that is a sensible thing to do. Full disclosure, for some unknown reason, having technical issues today with the internet, so we were going to do a little Patreon stream, but as is kind of the order of the week, tech issues left, right, and centre seem to be the right way through. But anyway, BT, if you're still on the line, what are we talking about today? There is only one topic.
Yeah, I think we're just going to be talking about our first impressions of Blood Bowl 3 with the early access from the Brutal Edition.
Guys, Blood Bowl 3. Well, yeah. Now, we're going to touch on a couple of bits of Blood Bowl news, a couple of bits of hobby as normal, and then on to the massive train wreck, which I will bleep out. So we're not entirely sure that's going to be the only beep of the episode, but let's see what we can do. Okie bits of Blood Bowl news first. And, well, guys, to be honest with you, as far as Games Workshop and stuff is concerned, the only piece of Blood Bowl news was Drool and Dribble that I saw kicking around. What do we think of the Drool and Dribble star player models?
Yeah, they're fine. They're inoffensively fine. They don't scream star player to me. This is an unfortunate case where Games Workshop had to catch up with Brute Fun, who has two very good ones that look very distinctive. I think the trouble I have with these ones is they look the same, and it's not totally clear which is which. I mean, I guess one has a knife, and that's probably the stab guy. But
yeah, that's it. The stab guy is the stab guy, and the other guy, I see. Ian Warhammer Hannum pointed out, and he was like, yeah, very much like what you said, Ben. Like, they're fine. They are nothing special. If you need to have something official, then they're okay. There's much worse. They're cool. They're cool designs for star players. But we do have this issue now where Brute Fun is just making these great star players, and then Games Workshop are landing theirs, and they're fine. They're just the same as Brute Fun's. A little bit worse. If you
want to spend more money, then they're fine.
We're clearly in a run of 2-for-1s star players as well from Games Workshop. It's definitely they're going through the pairs. I'm not sure I like the karate.
Oh, I see. I actually do.
Jumping on the tail look.
The flying kick.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. I think it's really stupid. But I don't know. I thought that was quite endearing. The helmets are like Brute Fun's got it exactly right from the artwork, which was quite interesting because the old Stabby Skinks helmet is exactly the same as I guess as the artwork, and therefore as the Brute Fun version, which is really interesting because I know we love Brute Fun's work like massively because it's just really good and really affordable, and we saw the Goblin star players, right? Nobbler and Scrapper. 9 pieces of resin between them, and the models are just smaller and I don't know, a little bit worse than Brute Fun's maybe. And I think we've got another case of the situation here where this is going to be £26 for 2-star players posted if you're in the UK in about 2 weeks, and they're going to be like 9 individual pieces. And I love the kung fu kick thing. It's quite cool. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And that one, the advantage is that the tail is clearly a decent size and is a decent mounting point onto the base, which is incredibly rare for the Forge World star players.
Yeah, it looks sturdy. I think, honestly, you might be better off just getting a couple of skinks and converting them, like stick a knife on and maybe make one jumping or look like he's fouling or something. But yeah, they don't look that much different.
No, so they're going to be difficult to spot. I think if you're an opponent playing against the Lizards team and you see them, you are going to mix them up with the Skinks really quickly and then probably regret it.
Yeah, I think you're sadly bang on the money with that. They're cool, but yeah, I think you're right. They've got slightly better helmets, but it's not going to stand out massively. So I think this is a case where you need to really paint them differently to the rest of your team. And I mean, another cool frog there is good. But I mean, they're working their way through the star players. Grashnak is the longest standing star player that we're missing at the moment. Otherwise,
so no Ripper, right?
No, it's otherwise everything's just out of the almanac. And to be fair, the almanac only really dropped to the last couple of months. So Goblin Stars they've done, but Ripper now, I think.
Yeah.
And then you got the Chaos Boys, which I don't think anyone's in any particular hurry to get.
Yeah, that's true. There's a couple we got teased from Blood Bowl 3, which we'll talk about later, though, right? Like they've got like Kerioth Krakeneye and stuff like that, which I guess we might see soon. But
yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. That is definitely on the on the few good bits about Blood Bowl 3, and we're going to get to it. But guys, I genuinely wanted to do a top 5 Friday this week of like the best bits of Blood Bowl 3, and on Monday I hastily pulled the post because I was like, we're going to struggle to get 5. But if you want good tips for Blood Bowl 3, see Trips' channel. I'll link that below. Cool little vid there, Trips. Kicking around for the rest of us, just a couple of bits of tournament bits. Dorset Dungeon Bowl is up. Tickets are available, and that's coming up on Saturday, the 20th of May. I think we sold about 20 tickets now. We've got a hard cap of 50, so if you're going to come and play some Dungeon Bowl, do get your tickets now. And I thought it would be worth just checking the tournament listings to see what else is going on around the world that you guys wanted us to share out on the channel. So we got... where are we now? We got School of Hard Blocks in a couple of weeks on the 4th of March in Dorset. You got Mulligan's Open, which is Blood Bowl 11s in Scotland, West Lothian. April Fool's Bowl on the 23rd of April, Blood Bowl 11s in Doncaster, and then Dorset Dungeon Bowl in May. And we'll check Europe, see if there's anything coming up in the next couple of months. We got a couple coming up in North America. The St. Jesse Open. I got it right this week, and nice. in Tennessee, and Heart Bowl in Quebec, Cabbage Cup in Ohio, and Forest City Cup in Ontario, all coming up in April. So if you're near those places, you've got some tournaments coming up. You've got Dungeon Dash on the 11th of March in Australia, another Dungeon Bowl event, which is pretty sweet, and Thoughtless Casual Gaming in Geelong, Victoria, again in March. Both of those in March. So there's some cool events going around, and we're just trying to kind of share the word for tournaments that are going around, because that 4th of February one, the week before Beachhead, I had no idea it was coming up, Ben. If you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have known it was existed at all. So it seems like a cool way to just share a few bits. Now, I haven't seen anything on Kickstarter. I know that MG Pix has got his Dungeon expansion coming in a month's time. But other than that, I don't think we've got anything that's kicked up in the last sort of 6 days since we recorded.
Yeah, no, I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, the game's a pretty big one, but yeah, I haven't seen anything miniature wise.
Yeah, no, nothing else. A nice little pause to save some pennies for the next round of teams, minis, and stars.
It's going to be March soon, guys. We've got to see vampires soon, right?
They're never coming. Give it up.
It's become a massive meme now on the Facebook community as well, which I think is well, it was anyway. Although I did see a brilliant comment today, which is something like my copy of Blood Bowl 3 doesn't work. There are no vampires, which I thought was a brilliant amalgamation of a couple of bits all in one go. Right, let's quickly bounce into hobby and games before we hit the big salty topic. Okay, hobby, games, and of course, buying things. BT, I hear you've been playing Blood Bowl.
Yeah, had my third league game in the Wobble League against old Greenskin Phil, Chris, as his actual name is.
Yes.
And yeah, it was an unfortunate matchup for him of Chaos Dwarf versus Goblin. And I think it kind of went as you'd expect. It was a brutal 3-0 win, the Chaos Dwarves, and there were not many Goblins left. I think I took them down to 2. A lot of knockouts, not actually a huge amount of casualties, all things considered. I think it might have been 5. One of them was 4 casualties. So not terrible, although one of them was his leveled up troll. That was infected by the Minotaur.
Has the troll and deaded him. Did he regen after that?
No. No.
Oh no.
Failed regen. Got dead.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, it was. Also the chain. So I bought an apothecary because I was expecting, okay, goblins probably going to do a lot of damage, but I'm expecting to receive a lot of damage. Usually against goblins, you do pay for it. And he had chainsaw, he had bomber. So yeah, he had also 2 fouling players, including a sneaky git loony. Hooligan. So I was expecting to get fouled a lot, which I did get fouled a lot. But yeah, the apothecary wasn't actually required because his chainsaw on his first activation kicked back and killed himself.
Oh my god.
Fortunately, not killed. Okay, casualtied himself.
Just
chainsaw survived.
took himself out.
Yeah, bomber. I was able to get a cheeky couple of blitzes on him, and eventually took him out after a couple. Yeah, it was an uphill battle, but we did establish it was revenge because last time I played Greenskin Phil, he decimated my Skaven with orcs, and including killing my favorite thrower.
Yeah.
So
you have left him with 8 fit players for the next match,
which he did kind of thank me because it means he can now get a load of stars.
Yeah, he's got a TV of 715 going into the next game. So yeah, don't actually fancy playing him next time around.
That is horrific. But man, solid 3-0 win. 21 SPPs as well. Let's have a look at your team.
I think all on the ball centaur as well because he scored all of them. If he got MVP, he would have got a stat, which is quite exciting. I was tempted to save, but
quick shout out. We're using Tour Play here. I know that sometimes people ask. We're using Tour Play, and we got the Wobble League up on the go. Minotaur's got Jugs. Your Bull Centaur. Oh, come on, Ben.
Yeah,
I had a secondary to pick, and I was there with the guys, being like, "Oh, what can I get?" I was gonna initially, if he got a general, I think I'd have taken sure hands or break tackle. Probably sure hands.
I think you technically correct. Absolutely,
yeah,
technically correct. Typical Chaos Dwarf, min-max elitist to coach.
Yeah.
Oh man, it looks like a Blood Bowl 2 team, honestly.
No guard yet.
Yeah, that does feel like a yet rather than a no guard.
That's way more fun skills to get, like Mighty Blow and every mutation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Mighty Blow is a solid skill.
Yeah,
but having a Blodge Bull Centaur is just awesome, though.
It really is. He's been actually really reliable at getting the ball. That's kind of what put me off Sure Hands almost, because like Sure Hands is also really good because there's a lot of strip ball in this league. Like there's 3 Norse teams and a few people have taken it, and that's a bit of a concern. However, Blodge is pretty good as a backup to strip ball. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're not going to be 4++ing very often, but it does set you up to take break tackle if you desire. At least put that to 3++ if you really want to.
Yeah.
But it's just such a great skill for keeping him standing. He's now invincible. He's now an Amazon. Congratulations, Ben. You've taken the best position on an Amazon team and put him with your Chaos
exactly what
team.
I made the movement 9 to boot. So it was good. I think there's a lot of really good and funny moments in the game. He had a sneaky git goblin, which was just his star player, and he was there just jumping into cages. No fear of tackle, and then 2 die uphilling my ball carriers and just getting POW both down like every time.
Absolutely.
He was insane, and he survived to the end. He was great. But yeah, unfortunately, it's an uphill fight, that kind of matchup. So.
Oh man, you love a 2 die up block. That's just the right way to go. That's a very Skaven attitude in that one.
Yeah, Pogo also very good. The Goblin Pogo is a really good player. So.
Just having a look though, 5-0 Byron.
Oh yeah, that was a pasting, that one.
Elven Union versus Snotlings. That's not a good combination. Titchy, like Snotlings are great, but Titchy means nothing to elves, right, Trips?
Oh, dreadful.
It's just 2+ ever, and Byron absolutely knows his way, having beat both of us in the finals, Ben.
Yep, he definitely. I think he clean sheeted us actually in that finals. Yeah, I don't think he lost many players either. I think he got a miss next game on a lineman. Just the badly hurt catcher. So yeah, didn't get much punishment either.
No, absolutely escaped with that. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, it's a
Ian
good
had
game.
a good result. Ian had his ogres against Tomb Kings, got a 2-0 win there.
Nice.
His ogres are now quite scary. I think 3 of them have blocked, 4 of them have blocked. For one
Ian Warhammer has been slow brewing these up. And saving those SPGs. Ooh, block break tackle. That's pretty sweet. A nice 2+ into the open field with that guy. Blocker. Another blocker with stand firm on a random. That poor runt punter sitting there with 1 touchdown. That's it. 1 more touchdown for him.
Gets a reroll.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting one. That is cool. That's one to definitely. We've got a good mix in the Wobble team. I'm looking forward to going back there and getting back into the league soon. That'll be pretty nice. How's the standings looking? So Ben, you are at the top 3-0. And you've got Simon there, 2 and a draw with his Norse. You got Warhammer there, 2 and a draw with the Ogres, and Mr. Saxby, Richard there, 2-0 with the Humans. That's a fun little bash. Quite a lot of teams on the go there, actually.
Rich and his uber skilled up catchers.
Yeah, I'm really scared of those. They can outrun everything.
About every skill they could ever have.
Oh my god!
Sure feet on both.
Strip ball, sure feet, but he's only strength 1, so that guy is of no. He is only a scoring threat. And then Thunder Johnson, love these names. Strip ball, sure feet, jump up. There is a lot of strip ball kicking around, Ben.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I'm just eyeing up that sure hands.
Oh wait, I'm running Black Orcs in this league. Oh, I don't like this. I'm getting so used to running the Skaven team now, especially after binging like 7 half games on Blood Bowl 3 this week with the Skaven team. Interesting. No, that's wicked though. That's wicked. Trips, have you had any games in the last few weeks?
No games at all. Try it. I'm waiting for my next employment game, and I'm waiting for roadworks to finish so I can actually get back from Wobble without having to drive through every little road in the New Forest.
That seems very fair. Have you got your next match? Who have you got in the employment league next?
I think I've got top of my league, so I'm not looking forward to that.
Oh, the human team.
The human team.
Yeah, the human team.
I've got very skilled up human team.
I've got John with the Wood Elves as well, which will be a really good match.
That's going to be
hopefully
at least a 5 touchdown game.
That's the over under, right? I don't think I've had a regular game where there's been less than 3 touchdowns so far with the Skaven team, which has been pretty good fun. I've got that game next Thursday. I've gone 4-1, 3-2. 3-2, 3-0, and 3-2. So not much for defense, but plenty of touchdowns on the go there, which is good.
I think my story of the league is I am both 4th in the best run for wins and 4th in best run for losses as well.
I love the honours page. I think it's so good. Where are you with your completion?
Something that's also actually really good in tour play now is they've got random team names. That's kind of a new addition.
If you add a new player, they will actually have a name.
Yeah. No more anonymous on everything.
Yeah, I've got 2. I've got Zrotek Pharaoh Chest and a Ziz. I don't know. How do you pronounce an X at the beginning of a word? Z, I guess. Zizcotch Highbreaker. I don't know. He's a lineman. He'll die. Yeah, the story of my Skaven team. I'm on player 19 now, so it's kind of how it works with Skaven. So looking forward to that. Hobby wise, I got at least half the dungeon printed for Dungeon 2, which is exciting. That's been a lot of fun. Printing them flat means you do get a bit of layer lines, but I'm kind of only printing them at 0.5 mil, 0.05 mil. So you're going to get layer lines printing flat at that. Like you said, Ben, I think with a bit of priming, it won't show up on a dungeon, which is pretty cool. So doing that, and then the last couple of days I've been absolutely out of it because I've got this ongoing battle with my teeth and a nice little infection brewing up where I've just been like 100 degrees and sleepy, which has been good.
Always on your time off.
Oh, it is though. And I tell you what, I took this week off to absolutely binge Blood Bowl 3 as well. So it's not been the worst. So I've been binging other things like trying to play Blood Bowl 3 and then sleeping and then watching Castle with Tiff. Although her Steam Deck did come today.
Nice.
So
played it yet?
No. Harry Potter is. Hey, dude, I got the Alienware. I don't need the Steam Deck. So I'm good to go though. So she's downloading Harry Potter Legacy, which is 70 gig. What the hell?
That's why the internet's so slow.
Yeah, maybe.
That actually might be it. Yeah, if she's downloading it, that would be it.
Well, no, because I transferred over to 4G, so that's
okay
on the mobile phone. So I don't know. That would probably be an element. Now it's been ropey all day. It's probably why it's still downloading. I think it was going to take 14 hours or something, which is just horrific. What? Yeah.
2005 dial-up or something.
Dude, living in the New Forest, it's not great.
Yeah.
It took like an hour or so just to start the Steam Deck and for it to install all the rubbish. I was like, what is this? It's not Swish.
PC, man. Yeah. It's there's a lot to it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yes, that's pretty cool. Hobby bits and bobs, guys. Anything else kicking around?
Randomly, I've started painting some miniatures for the board game Final Girl. That's Blood Bowl, isn't it? So what is a tiny little? It's this beautiful game in this very small box because Kickstarter's the thing.
Oh my god!
And yeah, it's basically a solo board game where it's like set in like 80s kind of horror tropes. It's all that kind of thing. And like you get these very awesome modules. So it's all like kind of modular. So they come in like VHS tapes.
That is like amazing.
They come apart and then you play on the actual casing of the. Yeah, it's this very awesome design. It's proper board gamey, tactile goodness, and I love it. So I'm painting up miniatures for it. Yeah,
that is incredibly cool.
Very cool game.
Tiff and I recently picked up Hero Realms. Played through Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle and loved like the deck builder aspect. So I went through the list of top deck builders. Went through the list of top deck builders that you can actually buy because the other ones are all sold out or missing or finished or dead or rare. And that was the top one. I was like, I'll see if we can push the fantasy tropes. That's sitting on the side of the lounge, ready to be played on board game night.
Is that the same developers as Star Realms?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Good things.
There's a versus mode which I got, and then if we like the gameplay mechanics, there's like a co-op version of it, which is definitely where we kind of sit. Oh man, love a good board game sesh. How about you, Trips? Anything else kicking around?
I've been doing mainly big hobby, so I've got a half-assembled shed to finish off this weekend.
Nice.
Be fun. To put the bikes in, and I've had quickly while the camera's working. I've had the.
I love that.
The printer running hot. So for those of you that don't attend tournaments, if you do attend tournaments, you can pick up sweets that look like dice with Beachhead logos on and Bonehead logos on. So a nice little store for my dice. So mainly just to wind Milton up about.
Disclaimer: don't actually eat them.
No, definitely don't. They do look absolutely delicious though, but definitely not the case. All right. Okay. Now, let's have a break very quickly, and then we need to face into reality. So we'll be right back after this. Okay, guys, we've danced around it now for half an hour. It is Blood Bowl 3 release week, and this has been brewing up for I don't know, years now? Years and years and years? 2 years?
Yeah, 4, I think. Wasn't it pre-pandemic? It got announced.
Oh, man, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so they must have known about all the, like, 2020 versions. Like, the rules changes and stuff. Yes.
2019, May 2019. That's when it got announced.
You're exactly right, because in there it actually put updated rules, and we were all like, "Is this the new rules version, or is this just the 2016?" God, I remember that. Blimmin' heck, that was a forever ago.
Sorry, I've just seen Blood Bowl 3 will coincide with the release of the new paper edition.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Actually, no. The new paper edition's pretty great. The slow releases, but actually, it's really, really, really good.
The original release window was early 2021, and then August 2021, and then February 2022, and later 2022. Finally, February 2023.
Wow.
Well, we are now in February 2023, and Blood Bowl 3 is here. It has been released. It has launched. And, I mean, I took off this week because I was like, this is going to be sweet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the campaign mode with all the different teams, like I did with the last beta, with the Renegades team. Did 6 games of the Renegades team because it's a really cool way to show how your team develops and pick up some tips and tricks and stuff like that. And, we were awesomely lucky to get a preview copy from Nacon. Got a brilliant little email that said, "Hi, we think you might like this game we've got coming out next week. Here's a summary of what it's about." I'm like, okay. I have maybe heard of this game. So that was amazing. So we went from a massive high of Picard landing, XFL landing, Blood Bowl 3 landing, and then I was like, cool, got the week off work, gonna binge the filming, and then loaded it up on day one, and it wouldn't connect to stuff. When I say day one, I mean Saturday, and it wouldn't connect and everything, and I was like, okay, this is fine. You know what, they haven't launched the lobbies yet because this is a pre-release version. This is fine. I'll play through the tutorial, and I'm not gonna lie, the tutorial was brilliant. It did a great job. The game looked very much the same as it did in the beta. Like, it's not as shiny as you would perhaps want, but this, for me, is a digital version of the board game, and I genuinely don't care about graphics. Like, it's fun to see things blow up and stuff, but definitely not why I personally am playing it. I'm coming from it from a tabletop aspect where I want to be able to play Blood Bowl 2020 on my laptop. So, graphics were fine. UI worked fine. I had no issues playing through the tutorial. And then I started running through the campaign, and the campaign didn't work. But again, I kind of thought, well, this is pre-release version, like maybe it's just not loaded yet. So I tried to go online, and online didn't work. So I kind of binned it off for a couple of days and waited for Monday evening when the game kind of released to the masses. And then the murders started. Actually, what is it? Is it you guys seen that meme where it's like, take the beginning of the first sentence of any book and then add, and then the murders began or something, and then the killing started. That kind of feels like how it's been. So I don't know where to start with this, because you know what we're like. We try to put the, I say, positive spin. It's not a positive spin, but we do try to find the good bits of anything. And generally speaking, because we're British, if there's no good bits to talk about, we just don't talk about it at all. But I feel like we have to talk about this one.
I think there are good bits. There are
definitely good bits. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy to go on a limb and say I think stylistically I'm actually really on board with it. I know there's a lot of people who aren't fond of the art style, and I can kind of see why. It's very grim and like gritty, a lot definitely compared to Blood Bowl 2. But I kind of really like that. That's kind of how I paint anyway. So it's like everything's like feels really familiar.
It's just oil and airbrush.
Yeah, I think the music's great. I think the cutscenes are funny. I think the UI, well, clunky, we'll get to that, looks awesome. And I love the way everything moves. It's very stylistically consistent with Blood Bowl. Like the tabletop and like the theme, it feels all there, and I like the way menus move and stuff like that. I think there is polish here in places. There is genuine polish here. But we'll get on to other things. Trips, you had some good things to praise it for.
So I think, good things is out. Because we've been moaning about it not being out.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I think that's there's an asterisk on that one.
One good thing, and I think it picks up on the UI. Now, struggled to play complete games through in detail, but I've only had one misclick in Blood Bowl 3. And if you play a game of Fumble, you're probably likely to have one misclick about every third game, every third turn, in fact. So I think it's really clear. The tutorial runs through quickly and easily. Control methods easy to play. Cameras easy to play with. It runs well. It's got the new passing in.
Sorry, it does run well. You are right. Like my PC is kind of like quite old now. Like it's on like 2015. It's a gaming PC, but from that era, may as well mean nothing. And yeah, I get really smooth frames on my PC. I think in the beta it was actually quite choppy. So to have it now is really good. Sorry, Caro.
Yeah, so I think in terms of the basics, it does what it's there to do. It's running. I think the fact they've got some league and competitions that you can set up is good. So there are ways that you can play with friends and people you know and set that up. And I'll add one good thing as well, which was an annoyance up until about 20 minutes ago. So when you log in and sort it all out, I, along with a lot of other people, have got confused by the text and written real name in a box where you want to put your gamer name, and then you've been stuck with the account name wrong. They've already put a form up on the support page to do that, and within an hour of filling it in, I've got an email back saying it'll be done within the next hour.
Okay, that's good.
So I'm really pleased with that. So that, and I will say one other good thing is that the game's been live on the pre-release for 48 hours now, 50 hours, something like that. We're already a patch in and a server upgrade in, so it's not like it's been released and abandoned in the state it is in. They are clearly working on it, and we should always mention it had a roadmap, and we know, Ben, how you love a roadmap. It may be long and winding, but there is a roadmap to start playing rules.
Wow.
All the rules being fixed.
Pausing the game.
Yeah, pausing the game.
We'll come on to that one. Yeah. All right.
There was some really good bits pulled out there that were good. I mean, does the campaign mode work for you guys yet?
I can play it. I did get kicked out of my game though.
Can you finish an entire game? Because I mean, I know we had another patch come through today, right? Another update come through today. But yesterday, I tried 3 different times to film a campaign game. Now, one of them was sweet. It was 5-0 up with Skaven, which I'll admit against his AI means very little. But I was about to get like enough SPP on my thrower to be able to get a stat up and to try my theory for a movement 9 Skaven thrower. Right, that was kind of my goal here. And I gave up in the end because it just kept crashing. I was like, I don't understand. Like the trailer was fine, and then on Monday I streamed the game, and the first 2 matches that I got paired up with were immediate concessions, which I'm assuming was disconnection. The game semi-crashed from my opponent in the 3rd game. A lovely guy called James, got to give a shout out to him. He was actually in chat, and he was like, "I'm really sorry, man. Like, I can't click next turn. Like, nothing's happening now. I'm gonna have to like concede." Lovely guy, really disappointing. And then I did actually manage to play a full game of Blood Bowl 3 on Monday night against Dark Elves, and that game online was perfect. It ran beautifully. I was able to play a really great game online with Black Orcs against Dark Elves, and everything worked great. There was no weird shape-shifting, no slippage, no random events that didn't actually have any. It was proper. And I left Monday going, you know what? A couple of those bits aren't working, but when the game works, it's really great. So I was like, on Monday, I was like, actually, you know what? This was really good fun. I had a stream, we had like 300 guys in chat, like having a good laugh, and it was just like this. This is what it's about. This could be fantastic. So I woke up the next day and my face hurt. So I took a lot of drugs and I went back to sleep, and then I tried to film stuff and it was playing squiffy, and I was like, don't worry about it. We'll play on Wednesday. So I woke up today and I started trying to play and film, and yesterday, and the campaign mode wouldn't blooming work. I'm like, come on. Like, I tested out the AI in the video, and the AI was trash, but the AI wasn't much better on Blood Bowl 2, I don't think. So, I mean, I feel like the AI is something we should kind of talk about, but I was just like, come on, like, why is the single-player mode, why does the single-player mode of a game not work to the extent where you can't finish a game? And I played 4 times. I played twice, sat downstairs with Tiff. I was watching TV, and she was playing Dreamlight Valley, I think, and I was just trying to smash stuff in and score loads of touchdowns with Skaven, and it crashed, and then it crashed again, and she was like, Ben, you just gotta have to give up, because this is just not working. I'm like, I know, but I think one of you guys did say that this is a brand new PC game at launch.
I'm still going to interject. So I think I'm going to preface this with fundamentally the game is broken. I think that's the kind of thing. I agree with what you're saying. I think the game, when it's working and functional, is really good. Like, it is a solid game. The fact it doesn't, I don't think is acceptable, especially after the length of time it is, and the fact they charge people quite a lot of money to play early.
My follow-up point, Ben, was not going to be a case of like, but it's a brand new game, don't worry about. My question was going to be, but it is a brand new PC game. Is this just normal now?
I don't think it's that normal. I think there are some games that do it, but not to a point. I think the biggest flaw in it is the fact that people paid extra to play early.
Yeah.
And the early stage is fundamentally not working. Yeah.
And that was about, really 20 shady. Quid, I think.
Yeah.
And it feels like that early stage is going to continue through to May. It looks like the game. I'm really glad it's out, but it does look like it desperately needed another 3 months.
A lot of the sentiment I'm seeing is just, I guess I'll be just playing Blood Bowl 2 till May. And even till like November, when it seems like the actual game is done. It's a bit weird. I think one thing that's worrying people as well is that a lot of the skills don't work. Like, a lot of the skills are just not working at all.
Yeah, I see the Juggernaut doesn't work.
I think that was one. Well, Animal Savagery is definitely one where it causes a turnover if you hit your own guy.
Oh yeah. I haven't had that problem. I'm pretty sure that my Rat Ogre did actually kill a guy. Or maybe he did actually. Maybe it did, and I may have just not noticed or just assumed something bad had happened.
Yeah, I've only run ability and haven't seen any problems with them yet.
I saw it against me in a game, and I was quite enjoying it, and then remembering I was like, I'm playing the AI, I don't need any additional help.
Yeah, I mean, they sometimes pick skulls as well. I've noticed that.
Oh, that's...
So I was playing a game, and they had a
that's special.
Yeah, like the Rat Ogre blocked my just random nobility lineman, and just decided he had a power and a skull, and just decided to take the skull. And I was like, okay.
That's remarkable.
Yeah. AI. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, should we let's go into the AI. So before we kind of start really getting into the nitty-gritty of the specific things that are really bad, there is hope there, and that will circle back around to it. There is hope there. There's some good parts to it. We don't absolutely hate it, but there are some bits in it that are just absolute trashed here. And did you guys get a chance to look at the first look video that I put together? Because I played a game against the AI, and it was my first time playing, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to film this very first time playing this game, and I played against the AI, and I started picking up on the vibe that the AI was really kind of as complicated as the Amazon auto help chat. I was like, okay, this is the kind of responses I'm getting. So I literally just deployed my team to the side. Well, not to the side of the pitch. Just I left a wide open thing, and I gave it 8 turns to score, and it just couldn't do it. It was just having absolutely none of it, which is interesting because if you are playing the AI, the column defense will absolutely wreck your the AI. The AI will not know how to do it, and it will just make bad dodges instead of doing anything else. Dodged out with a rat ogre in one of my games.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just taking a 6-die block against a Skaven lineman, it took a 4+ dodge out and died without using a reroll. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what is this? But anyway, Ben, I jumped in. Please continue.
You're just saying pretty much what I am here. It's like we've got a game where we have this season where I don't think you can play ladder until May. Is that what I'm understanding?
That is exactly correct.
You can only play like pre-season friendlies or against the AI.
With no SPP.
Exactly. And the AI part doesn't really work. Like half the time they'll concede halfway through their turn. Or not concede, but end their turn. Like they won't move guys, or like they're just like, okay, you've got, like, you haven't even moved a few of your players and you've just decided to end your turn. It just feels like so. We're saying this from perspective of Blood Bowl players, like we know how the game works.
Well, no. We're video game players, right? We expect the AI to be beatable, but
no, that's what I mean. We're saying this from tabletop as one perspective, but if a video game picks us up being like, cool, a new Warhammer themed Blood Bowl game, I've loosely heard of Blood Bowl, I'll give it a try, and picks this up, and they jump into AI, they're not gonna. This isn't really what the game is. Like they're gonna look at this and think, what is this?
Why am I bothering?
Like, should I be playing like that? Am I doing something wrong by like?
Why should I dodge with a big guy rather than block with a big guy? I have seen the AI genuinely score. I did like really try and set it up in such a way. I did my traditional roll lots of ones, and eventually even the AI picked up on that.
Oh, but... the AI did. The AI did score a 2-turn gutter touchdown against me at one point, and I was like, okay, good. So actually, if you pressure and leave it at an angle, it will just take the I don't know, probably like 5+5+ dodge instead of just moving around. But I mean, because Tiff was like, oh, cool, like, how's the tutorial? Is this going to be useful to teach me how to play Blood Bowl? I'm like, actually, the tutorial was pretty good.
I actually had, oh God, this is going to be a theme. I had some issues with the tutorial.
Really? Did it not work, or just the way it was staged?
Well, I think I was a little bit, it's because of the fact I was playing on Steam Deck didn't help. We'll get onto that. I don't know. I feel like it quite rushed through it. I could see someone not having any idea how to play Blood Bowl being quite overwhelmed by the tutorial. It was. I thought it would be more like
longer and in more manageable chunks.
More focused. Yeah. Like, here is your player on the pitch. There are no other players to worry about for now. And it's like, move to the ball.
It didn't actually cover setups either, because
it was just like
I finished the thing, went straight into my first campaign game, and I was like, I don't know how to set up, move my guys around. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So you know what? Yes,
it's kind of just like do this. And you're just like, but why? Like, I'm a player. Like, why am I doing this? It never really went into that. It was kind of just like, block this player, hit him there, do this, move him there. Move to there.
It doesn't explain the game. It explains the functions of the game.
It does. Yeah. Well, it doesn't really explain them. It just shows you.
It shows you how to do them. It doesn't tell you what, why, or where.
Yeah, when you use this. Yeah, that's the kind of issue I had with it.
Yeah, and so I think as opposed to the old tutorial, which was quite a good way to learn basic Blood Bowl, this one is more a good way to learn the control scheme.
Yeah, I'd take that. The control scheme, which by the way is good, and I think better than Blood Bowl 2. As you said, Ian, like misclicking is way harder in this. It's an issue I always had with Blood Bowl 2. I'd always randomly click, like double click somewhere and just like absolutely die.
I don't know. I had 2 issues with it. One was this was entirely my fault. I clicked reroll. Or something. Oh yeah, my troll like skull pushed, and I just clicked reroll, and then it actually passed the loner and rerolled into double skulls at one point. And I was like, well, that's on me. And the other one is you do have to But this is exactly the same as Blood Bowl 2. You do have to wait half a second for the camera to catch up. Like, because I will be one, I don't know, it's from like the old CNC Generals days where I'll be like, right, click, I'm clicking on my next player and I've already gone to where I want him to go. And as I'm going to the place I want him to go, the camera then moves and I'm going to be clicking on a square that's not right. That, again, is completely on me. And you just have to slow down for half a second, Ben, let the camera catch up, which I am actually terrible at because...
APM's too powerful.
Or you do it while the camera's still on the player and you do it really quickly. So I think there's definitely there's that ideal sweet spot of when you don't do it, when it's just about to move the camera and you're like, I have put the player in the wrong place again.
and I've done an AI and gone through all the tackle zones. Yeah. So yes, misclicking less possible. That said, I don't believe you can foul at the moment because the wheel doesn't work on that one, or I think that's what I saw in one of the fixes.
I've been able to foul.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't tried actually.
It's a lot of conjecture, which I think is, I don't know if that's more scary or not. Like from a programming point of view, I've always found that intermittent faults are the things that are the most horrific things in the world, because it means that 80% of the time it works perfectly fine, which means the core of it is just done fine. It means that some other piece of code is interfering with it and somewhere else. And I've always found this with like my labor models and stuff, because I'm like, right, I don't understand. Like this literally should be fine. And then you go and find out that actually, I mean, some piece of other thing is taking from the wrong bit, which can't be a lot of fun. But anyway, those are some good points. What's next on the list, lads?
The last thing I want to as in, I'm going to save Steam Deck to the end. I think this one is the one which I'm finding the biggest problem right now, and I'm duplicating it as we speak just to make sure it hasn't been patched. I hate, genuinely hate, it's a strong word to use, but how all your offline clicking through menus, doing whatever, you're not playing a game against anyone. Everything is a network connectivity, cool. I just want to play a game against an AI with one of my teams, and it doesn't load. Like the goblin is there running in the corner, and you're just waiting for ages, and sometimes never. You just have to reboot the game.
Yes.
Just to play an offline thing, or even just manage your team.
Oh, mate, it's just going to crash anyway. Don't worry too much about it.
I've just clicked on team management, and it's still loading. Just to load up what my team looks like.
Yeah, the Goblin running, I think, is the 2020s version of Clippy.
Yeah.
Just mincing around in the corner, being proper aggravating. That Goblin is going to do some serious work. Yes, that seems a bit strange, but I feel like the majority of this stuff is just going to be fixed one day when we wake up.
Yeah, but why isn't it fixed now?
That is your game doesn't, the question, my friend, which massively links into the roadmap that I've got behind us on the screen at the moment, which is Season 1 begins on the 25th of May. It is not even the 25th of February. February is month 2. May is month 5. That is a number of months away. I'm not sure if I knew that the official ladder wasn't going to be landing.
I didn't know that.
So I think they said something around that there was going to be some things not working, but until Monday they had not made it clear that the first season and the first Blood Pass, which they made a big deal about in the run up, wasn't going to kick in till May. So that feels like in the last few weeks they've gone,
no, let's push it back.
It's not ready. It can't go, and it's gone back quite a long way.
I actually do not care in the slightest about there being no official ladder for 3 months. That's not fair. I do care in the slightest. I don't think it's a terrible thing if they said, hey, this is going to be the preseason for the next 2 to 4 weeks, as it's a new game, everyone gets time to play and just feel it out. And actually, yeah, that's fine if that's what they want to do. 3 months without an official ladder is going to be it's a video game time that is forever. Like there will be really long. 500 new Magic the Gathering cards out in circulation between now and then. And that's and I'm just like, the game is not changing. We won't even have another Games Workshop game. Like, the official ladder is one of the great things about Blood Bowl 2 kind of thing. Like, those ladders, those leagues and those ladders, and the fact there is an official one is awesome. But it's not the competition bit that I care about. It's that this friendly ladder doesn't even give you SPPs. And that's such a massive point of the game. I don't mind not having an official ladder to compete in, but if my games... So I spent like 2.5 hours on Monday night, disconnected from 2 games, had an opponent have to bail because the game stopped working, and then I did win a 2-1 grind, 4 games, and I got literally nothing out of it for my team, when that is the entire purpose of Blood Bowl. I was like, I don't understand that's rubbish. That just means you can't even play the game without having to go to the efforts of joining a league. And quite frankly, I can join a league in person and on Fumble, like it, or on Bloomin', nearly did it, on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
I know I'm supposed to be the positive one here. The game's just not ready yet, right? It's just not ready.
I just wish they were really upfront about this. That's the big problem I have with it. Is it wasn't that clear that this was going to be like this restricted for 3 months.
Well, no one would have cared. Everyone would have left the game well alone, and that would have been much better for everybody if they said, "Hey, pre-season lands in February. There's going to be no official competition, and some features aren't going to be 100% yet." Everyone's going to go, "Okay, cool. Well, I just won't bother until May then." And I won't give you that extra. I think this is a £25 game, and I think the early access bit is like £45, maybe even £50. So, first of all, PC game at 25 quid is like CEX level. Like, that's Age of Empires 2.
That's pretty standard. But a sort of indie game,
yeah, for a tier 2 game, right? This is a tier 2 game with a I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I'm moaning. I don't like to moan.
I'll tell you what does work. I'll tell you what does work really well, and that is the cash shop. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So, Ben, take it away, Ben. Take it away.
Right.
I'm handing you the keys on this one.
they've implemented, I'm sure a lot of people listening are probably aware of this, but they've gone down the live service route. So games as a service, it's a thing that a lot of companies are doing now. Not many of them are doing actually very well. It's not usually something liked in the games community. It's essentially the concept of we're going to release a game and continue adding updates over the course of the game's lifetime. And so the game continually develops, and it's kind of funded through season passes, battle passes, blood passes in this case, and cosmetic microtransactions. And I think, you know what, in concept, in theory, that's usually fair. And it's quite exciting to get new content regularly and know that you're going to get it because it's being funded. I'm kind of okay with that when it works. However, it's kind of recently become an excuse to sort of half finish a game and then bring out the content of that game or like features of that game through this pass. And we're kind of seeing it with this roadmap here. And I think to do that and release something that's half finished at the start, and then also the thing you do finish is the monetization part of it, that just feels really bad. And like, you can purchase your cosmetics absolutely fine, but you can't replay the game fine. So you're basically just like paying for your cash shop. And I think cosmetic microtransactions are generally okay. I've got no issue with them.
Yeah.
In this case, though, I think this is a case where they're not fine.
They got it the wrong way around. Like,
what I'm saying is, with the terms of the cosmetics themselves, is they're just not good value. Like, they offer no incentive for people to buy them, because if you buy a cosmetic for a player, you can use it on one player.
Yeah.
If you pick on another player, you have to buy it again. And that adds up. And to kit out I think I saw the maths on Reddit probably. I think to kit out a full team, like with like the same cosmetics or like cool cosmetics, will cost like 50 quid.
Oh my god.
Which is a lot of money for one team game where you have a lot of teams. And
what
it's just
no.
I think it's just really there's a lot of like gall to throw that at players when you haven't finished the game.
I'm just going to jump straight in here. Tabletop Blood Bowl is just insanely superior in every flipping way, apparently. Like, Games Workshop are the evil empire, but it's like in Star Wars, right? The Empire are all really bad, really, really bad, and then when they're gone, some other monkey chaps turn up with old Kylo Ren and worse acting and worse villains, and it's just worse. And I feel like we've gone from Games Workshop, where everyone's like, oh, they're the terrible people, even though in Blood Bowl we're actually pretty well isolated from it, and it's like, oh, I've got to buy a £9 book every 4, 5, 6 months. And it's like, yes, you do, but you don't really, because the rules are in the box and you can just pirate it online. And now we're at a point where, well, the Blood Pass is bad. Well, actually, if the Blood Pass is going to be 20 quid every 3 months, I spend more on that, like more than that, on flipping paints and on stuff that I'll never use. And that's fine. But then why? Why put the resources into building a shop to release a game that doesn't work, like literally cannot be used, and then have you just like put all that effort into a microtransaction thing that's going to cost, like, I'm not going to lie, if there was a cool kit, like, here, for 20 quid, you get all the elite Skaven customizations. You know what? I'm probably going to be the guy who buys that. Because for 20 quid to bling out my Skaven team, wicked. Like, fine, you know what? That's pocket money. That's my waste of money, but my team's going to look cool. 50 quid is ridiculous. 25 is probably the limit. But having to do it individual components is just ridiculous. And I don't
much time, so much
understand.
Yeah, I mean, we've all bought the early edition, so we all have 1,000 warpstone.
No, I haven't touched it.
I am not going into the shop to press on anything. I mean, because I'm never going to get to see it on a player at the moment because I can't get the players on the damn screen.
I was about to say, I clicked on the shop to start the segment, it's still loading.
Yeah,
oh, man.
But I'm not going to go through and go, right, I want to adjust the right shoulder pad on 11 players and I want to spend a load of money on doing it because I know the way I play Blood Bowl, that player's going to be dead in this case in about 4 server resets time, and in his first game, and I'm going to have to do it all over again. I don't want to do that.
I don't have to buy it again.
And it's one of 12 teams that are available now, which is way less than half of the total amount of teams you're going to play anyway.
Yeah, I think I think this would actually be okay, and people would look over this if the game was free. They've gone down this route of it's so many games are doing this now, where you pay for the game, you buy the game, and then you have to like pay for the courtesy of using the features in the game. And I just find it so egregious. It's so egregious, and we've seen it fail. Like, look, Square Enix have come out with so many games that did the same thing. Yeah. Like Marvel's Avengers. They did that. You pay for the game, and there's cash shop with microtransactions in the game. They said it's going to be live service. We're going to support it. A year down the line, they cancel it. Axed, gone. It's not profitable anymore. It's costing us too much money to keep it going. They did it with like 3 mobile games. Axed.
I have a real world example of this. Now, we got the cafe down the road every week apart from the first Tuesday of the month, right? So we've tried to find a different place, and there was a store in Southampton that actually we could use to run a little mini Sevens night once a month. So we started doing that. But what ended up happening is they were charging us for the tables, and then they were also charging people to come in. So everybody just paid twice, and it just got to the point where I was like, well, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. I have no interest. Like, charge me £10 in one go, and I can balance it out. Charge me £5 twice for no reason, and it's just rubbish. That was my real world example of that. But if they're going to charge us once for the game and then another time for, well, no, actually, I don't care about having to buy each of the teams as they come out. Like, I personally don't care, because it's not, Blood Bowl's not a video game. It's not like, have you played Blood Bowl 3? Yes, completed it, mate. It's not like that. Blood Bowl is way more similar to a collectible card game than it is anything else. It's just how it is, because you build your deck. Your deck is your team. If you want more cards, i.e. you want more teams, you want more different ways to play, then you buy them. Like that sits just fine with me. Like, because 20 quid or whatever every 3 months for a team is perfectly fine. Like, if that's how they want to do it, doing the maths of it, it's pretty horrific compared to other video games, but compared to tabletop, compared to Magic the Gathering, compared to all that kind of stuff, it means nothing. In fact, do you know what? Sign me up £10 a month and give me every team the day it comes out. It's 120 quid a year, which sounds really expensive, but it's way cheaper than buying, I don't know, 1/2 of a 2-pack of Games Workshop star players. And I think that's...
I agree with you there, Ben, to a point, although I will be taking the other view of I really want to give the Blood Pass a go in terms of how much you've got to play through it to earn stuff and detail.
Yeah, but it's not the same currency. Is it the same currency? So I can buy 4.5 shoulder pads or elf team when it comes out. Like, we
don't know because we haven't seen the detail behind it. My problem with having to buy the teams at the moment is that I do not mind paying money on a video game if I'm going to sink 50 hours, 100 hours, 150 hours into it. I can't see myself sinking the time into this game at the moment for several months because I'm going to spend most of it watching that goblin, and it's already irritating me.
Well, then let's hope the first team is a goblin team, although given the amount of skills that goblin team starts with, I imagine it won't be.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm really sorry. I've got toothache and this game is garbage. And I was so excited. And I was really
excited after seeing it on Monday when you were playing it, because I thought it's not everything it needs to be, but it's most of the things that will make me play.
Yes.
And then by the time I'd finished downloading it, my view on it started to go the other way as other people got there first.
Honestly, it's so just, yeah. Sorry, Ben, you go, man.
I was going to say, so I was so excited to play it on Steam Deck. We talked about this on the podcast. Like, it's going to be perfect. Like, Steam Deck came just the right time. That's almost a good thing. It got delayed. It's like the perfect platform to play this on. And it just doesn't work. It just fundamentally does not work. And there are games which don't really support Linux. Usually those games are older or intentionally don't support them out of like cheat reasons. This game just seems like it hadn't considered it. I think, to be fair, they haven't got it running on Windows. So
that is a sad reality.
For starters, there are some just unforgivable ones. The biggest one that I think is just crazy is Steam Deck has a 16:10 resolution. That is not uncommon. That is quite common. If your monitor is 1900 by 1200, that's that ratio. And all of the splash screens and like UI menus and everything, including like your team roster, is kind of fixed to 16:9. It doesn't resize and rescale. So it cuts off like the sides of everything. And so you join into a game and it'll be like the Avon versus Orc.
You're missing,
and you're just
half the team days.
Humor. Yeah. And it's just like, and you're just there just being, how was this missed?
I don't know.
Was there any QA at all?
I wouldn't like, I own a Steam Deck now. I wouldn't hold it against them massively if it was like, game runs perfect on PC, but I didn't make it work for Steam Deck. Yeah. Like, fine, that's on me. I bought a Steam Deck. I took that risk. That's on me. That's not on the game. But I just no.
There's nothing to do with the Steam Deck, to be fair. Like, the Steam Deck, all it is Linux PC. Yeah, like, all they have to do is test it on a Linux operating system.
My point is, like, if the game ran perfect and was awesome on PC, like the stuff that it was designed for, I know that the Steam Deck is technically a PC, but if I'm using my television as my monitor and I'm getting annoyed because it's cutting off the edges, well, you're using a monitor. Like, but the point is, that would be kind of like, that's such a shame because the game's so great that it just like really stupid that they missed the option to just adjust the screen to people who don't have the exact same screen. That's a bonehead move. But we've gone past bonehead. We're rolling really stupid using a coin. And I don't, and it's just, I don't know, there's no wound anymore. It's just salt.
It was just sad. Like I had like a notepad on me, and it was before I'd even rolled the first thing on the tutorial. I clicked the first thing. I had like D-pad doesn't work in menus. It's locked to UI elements. So this is probably also going to apply to console users, I'm assuming, because it has controller support in the game. Plug in an Xbox controller, this same thing happens.
The only thing I've seen about that is someone being very excited because square means yes now.
It does.
They were like, yay, square means yes, this is the best thing ever. And I was like, wow, that is some real good positivity. I mean, he's still stuck on the campaign mode, but at least he can press yes every single time the game reloads.
It's a lot harder to misclick.
Run, Goblin, run.
The cutscenes just do not work. Flat out, it will not play any cutscenes. Just black screens.
Oh, that's
you can skip
such a miss because
So you jump into the game and it's just black screen and hold B to skip.
Yeah, and you only find it out by accident because you're like, please don't tell me it's crashed. Oh no, it's just trying to load the impossible to load cinematic in some way.
Yeah, which I can only assume is because it's locked to some kind of Windows path or something where it's like load this video from this path and that's not a Linux folder structure. I'm going to assume that's probably what it is. Quit to main menu, that was a thing. I couldn't actually quit to the main menu from a game. However, I crossed that one out because there was a patch and it came back. So essentially, you couldn't actually navigate to low down menu. If the menu was scrolling, as soon as you flick down with the stick to like a scroll menu, it would actually just like bump you back to the top again, and so you couldn't actually get to the bottom ones. But now they've bound those to buttons, so that works now.
All right.
Yeah, it says you couldn't confirm the settings either. So if you change your graphic settings, you couldn't confirm them unless you use the touchscreen. So I didn't know how it affected console. It was just like I was just there like it's just really disappointing because I was really hoping it just seems like they're just missing basic controller input, and it just felt really clunky and annoying to use, and it didn't help that the loading just didn't happen either. I feel like maybe if that gets fixed, I'll go back to it and then maybe work out some kind of config that makes, because the Steam Deck is good for that. Like the Steam Deck is like, okay, controllers doesn't really work well. Good thing you've got like a mouse and two mice and a million buttons. So, and the buttons can be wherever you want them to be. So I'm sure there'll be ways to work that out. But yeah, man, fixing cutscenes and the UI elements and stuff like that would just be great because that just was
I'm going to swing in on a positive here. If you're not using a bougie device, then actually the cutscenes and like the adverts and stuff have been amazing.
They are good.
Pure joy was when I was running through the, I don't know, I guess it was the,
in the tutorial when
exactly, Trips in the tutorial, and then at the beginning of the next campaign I was like, this is brilliant. You've got Borak, you've got Varag, and I was just like, this is great. The background that's in there about like the cruises for the first campaign mode, it's so good. It's just really, really like, I love this. This is Blood Bowl. Like, and I was really, really, really chuffed about that. So if that doesn't work on your device, then that's just so disappointing because quite frankly, it is the only thing in the game that is perfect.
Well, you say that, but it's really disappointing when you see the injury result before the dice have been rolled. And then you see the dice rolled afterwards. And
that's a very little thing.
I just want to see. I like seeing the dice because I like to actually see 5s and 6s because I barely ever.
You don't believe they exist. Now that you're not the only person who's flagged that up, Trips, and I got to assume that that's again another little change. And I think there's so much to unpack here because the game just really doesn't feel ready. And it's not done, but I tell you what, if this company is there, now they've already done a patch, they're listening, they've already done a press conference, they're working it through. I really do feel like there's a lot here that they can get it workable in potentially not a very long amount of time. So Like, because actually, I don't know the complexities of why the campaign mode keeps crashing. I'm fine with the AI being garbage because Blood Bowl AI is just notoriously difficult, right? And I personally don't think it's much worse than the Blood Bowl 2 one. It's been a long time since I played Blood Bowl 2 because it's not the Blood Bowl rules anymore. So I don't, that's like old format. So I've just kind of moved away because otherwise I will just keep on tabletop trying to throw passes with my gutter runners, which you can't do anymore. Took some genuine like going cold turkey to stop doing that. And if, this time next week, I'll be personally very cross because I'll be back at work. And I think the lesson there is all on me, that one. But like, if this time next week the campaign mode works great, generally speaking, your game doesn't crash. It's a PC game, right? Games crash every now and again. It doesn't matter what you play. Like, it's just tech. Tiff was playing Dreamlight Valley earlier and her game crashed, and I just sort of said, yeah, take the cartridge out, blow on it, because games have been crashing since before we had CDs, and that's just a part of tech. Like, we all work, we all use online systems at work, we all use stuff, and sometimes for some reason it doesn't work. You just have to turn it off and turn it back on again. I don't mind that 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 times. 4 out of 4 times is just unusable.
The fact that happens is probably an indication that season 2 feature of resume a game after its disconnection, maybe that should have been a priority.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's talk through this roadmap because I feel like it's going to spark some more conversation here. So between now and May, it is pre-season where it says get ready to play the game. Okay, we're very ready to play the game. Season 1, new faction, new blood pass, brand new customization, new competitive season, official ladder, and in-match readability optimization. Don't know what that bottom one's going to be. I'm assuming they're going to make the... honestly, all it needs is a glow behind the buttons that pop up in the middle of the screen, because sometimes on the right pitch with the right colours, you can miss the reroll, no reroll bit, because it just kind of blends in. All they got to do is put a big old black or big old white bit behind the flipping buttons so you know where to click. Like, if that's what they're chatting about, that's fine. Official ladder, a new competitive season, very excited for that, because that could lead to what I was expecting, which is a very cool mini version of Blood Bowl with just 13 teams competing in apparently an endless non-redrafting situation. That's going to create its own version of Blood Bowl, which I think is really exciting for me. That's this again, I'm going to bring it back to Magic. We've got all the teams on tabletop because it's proper Blood Bowl, and that's full on Magic. Then you've got this mini version where there's just a limited pool of cards, limited pool of teams, and it creates its own format. And at that point, we've got Blood Bowl 3 format and you've got Blood Bowl 2020 format, and that's really interesting to me. So that looks really good. Brand new customization. Get the hell away. Like, just don't even, like, not even going to bother. Don't even just foxtrot
unless it's a £20 Skaven set and then Ben's straight in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's what customization should be. It should be, here's some stuff you don't remotely need at a price you will just about begrudgingly accept to pay. That's the perfect way to do it, and I've seen games do it brilliantly, and I've been suckered sometimes and I've not been suckered sometimes, and it's fine. And actually, that's down to me. And if I want to just give you money for stuff that I don't need, that's absolutely fine. The new blood pass, the new faction, that will be really interesting to see, because if I've got 1,000 rupees and it's going to cost me 1,000 rupees for a new team, and I've spent rupees on 4.5 helmets, then customizations are just even more utterly worthless, because no one's going to do that if that's what the currency is to just buy the new faction. So that's...
I assume you're talking about Zelda rupees, not the Indian currency, because...
Yeah, sorry. I was just thinking bright green gems, and rupees came to mind. Yeah. If I need to bash skulls and break vases to get the currency I need, then that's going to be wicked. And I think Trips, that's very much where you're sitting, right? You're like, cool, I can unlock stuff by playing a game.
I really want to play like the no money spent version of it, which is how much time, what have you got to do? Is there any way you optimize it? Have you got to play online and try and SPP spam, whatever you do? Have you just got to play lots of games? What have you got to do it? I really want to see if they've got that balance of grind to reward right.
I'm a big fan of digital digital economies, I find them very interesting. In Magic, there's a guy who does a YouTube channel called Going Optimal, and the whole thing he does is he plays Magic online on Arena in a way to farm as many gems and stuff so that he can basically put in hardly any money to play Magic and play it to its full extent. We should be able to see a very similar thing here with Blood Bowl, where honestly 80% of the players are just like, it's £12 for a team, I'll buy the team. And there's 20% who are like, actually, you know what, this is a challenge, this is cool, I earned that Wood Elf team. And that's brilliant. And I spent my £12 on shoulder pads. So season 1 bit, that, I'm not going to lie, a lot of that I was expecting right now. But if we have to wait,
I was hoping that was going to kick in tomorrow.
Yeah, I was expecting that to be this week and it to be a really exciting period. Then there's season 2 in August. New faction, new blood pass, brand new customization, new competitive season. I like the ending of a season and the beginning of another season. I don't think there's going to be redrafting, but hell, we don't know anything right now. Please let there be redrafting, because infinite Blood Bowl 2020 teams, it's not going to be as bad as it is on Blood Bowl 2, where everyone's claw, pom, and literally the exact same opening movement every time, because they've been playing that Dark Elf team that same way since before things were black and white. Like that's that reset could be exciting. Replay mode and spectator mode. Spectator mode is missing from Magic the Gathering Arena and is one of the biggest barriers between people running homebrew tournaments and leagues and providing coverage. And this, if this works, LOL, spectator mode, Blood Bowl 3, this is where we get cast online tournaments, we get coverage, we get a community, and we get value, and we get excitement out of a new format.
Sportscasting, and we get scribbling on the screen.
We get the telestrator out, right? That's really exciting. And then what I think is a very fundamental piece of playing any kind of game is resume a game after disconnection and being able to pause. Ben, over to you.
I find this one baffling that this was not there. Like, it's a game which can go on for a little bit. I mean, even though 2-minute turn time, you're talking about like 45 minutes, but even against like AI, you can't just like pause it and come back.
You cannot save your game. And when your game crashes, you don't get to pick it up. And it will
they should see how much is crashing and be just like, okay, 2 years ago, this is probably the case. We need to resume this. I can't imagine them developing it. Like I'm thinking from a development perspective of them trying to like test scenarios. And it keeps crashing, and they can't resume it, and they have to start again.
Yeah,
like that just sounds awful. Like I don't understand how this is not in the game, but looking at how they seem to be opposed to the idea of caching any content with the amount that it loads every screen that you click on.
On the plus side, all of those like information packets are going to be charging somebody's bandwidth somewhere on the server side, so that's quite...
mine.
I guess. I mean, the pause system is you can actually pause a game. They said there's more to it than actually just pausing the system.
Yeah, it's not pause. It's as in like suspend a game is kind of probably a better word.
Which I'm like, you know what, fine. But Ben, you're exactly right. I mean, Blood Bowl tabletop games, 2 hours. Minimum, right? Unless you're Rich Saxby, in which case it's an hour and a half maximum. But like the resuming a game after disconnection for your AI campaign games, I literally don't understand. I can understand you rebooting it up and having lost your last turn. Like it's aggravating, but like it just happens, right? It's just a video game. Oh, where was my last checkpoint? Oh, it's okay. That's annoying. I have to walk up that hill again. Okay, fine. Not like, oh, where am I? Oh, cool. We are back to 1990. I'm playing Solstice. I've died, and now I'm in room 1. That's just I don't understand. I love data. I'd be like genuinely, I was saving games on a floppy disk and saving your progress on a floppy disk back in the games factory, multimedia factory games. Like, it was one of the first things I did, because you know what's really annoying? Having to start at the beginning of everything. It's not cool. It's not brilliant. I've been saving stuff since Pokemon. Do you know what? There's probably less data in my full-on Pokemon Red game than there is in a game of Blood Bowl. Anyway, aggro of that one. Then we move on to Season 3, and guess what there's going to be in Season 3? A new faction, a new Blood Pass, brand new customization, new competitive season, star players special rules, which brings me on to the next point here was I don't understand how there is so many rules missing from the game. I was not aware of this, and I've not really noticed it until I started seeing people like, yeah, multi-block isn't in there, Juggernaut's not in there, star player special rules aren't in there. I have no issue with star players not having their special rules, by the way. If you want to just leave that out, I'm fine with it.
You say that now, but wait till you're up against a team with TV 400 more than you, and you're like, I need that special rule.
Yeah, maybe, I guess, but like I don't mind that, but it really is a part of the game, and like I'm just saying, I feel like Fumble might have the star player special rules. It might not. And I appreciate there are some teams out there whose rules may fall outside of the simple interaction between one or two players, i.e. swarming. I imagine that swarming is probably harder to program than some other things. I don't believe that Juggernaut is much harder to program than Block. Because it's like literally the same skill, kind of. Yeah. I guess there's an extra thing is if you are blitzing, then 1. Otherwise, 0. There you go. Fixed your game.
But it's also not like Juggernaut suddenly popped in as a new rule that's never been in a rule set ever before in Blood Bowl history.
Jugs is a top 10 common skill, surely. Like big guys, guard, Jugs.
Oh yeah. It's like what you want. They have, 3 teams that can take Minotaurs here?
Yes. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you got Renegades, right? A team full of big guys. And what can you not use? Any of the big guy skills. I'm like, oh, come on. Now, Season 3 here, crossplay, updated rules from the board game. It's November. That's the FAQ. So, I'm just going to park that and say that's the FAQ. Because
I'm going to add to that, Ben. I reckon that's the May FAQ, not the November FAQ.
That's all right, because the Games Workshop will probably screw up the May FAQ. Oh my god, what is this? Crossplay. I mean,
I think this is huge that this is only in Season 3. Like, my God. Okay, so they're trying to create a live service by splitting the player base. Like, that is not a good start.
Oh, is it though, Ben? Is it though? Or is it a good start? Because actually, how much money are the PS4 players going to spend on blinging out their shoulder pads? And then you also, if you want to play with your friends who've got a PC, you might also bling up your Skaven team on the PC version that doesn't go together, right? Is this not
PlayStation players won't spend it? If you're talking to PC gamers here, these PC gamers spend 300 quid to make their tower green. If you want money, you're looking at PC gamers.
Yeah, but my point is
PS4 players have a PS5.
If they want to, if the PC gamers want to play with, let's say they fall out with all of their friends because their case is a different color to theirs, maybe they'll want to go and play with the Muggles with their PS4 or the Elite Boys with the Switches. And actually, you know what? If my friends, for example, Ben, you and I are both in the Nintendo chat, I'm pretty sure most of those people are just rolling a Switch. And actually, if Tiff's like, I want to play Blood Bowl, then I'm going to get it on the Switch for me, and I'm going to get it on the Switch for her. And then if I want to bling up stuff, I'm going to get it on there as well, if there's no crossplay. If there is crossplay, sweet. All you're going to do is get more people who have an angle to play accessible. So crossplay accessibility is brilliant. So yes.
No, I'm not arguing against crossplay. I'm arguing against the fact it's not out day one.
It is rubbish that it's not landing till November, but tell me, how well has the crossplay worked for Blood Bowl 2?
Has it?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it's been running strong for 10 years, and it sucks.
What I'm saying is they've got a model here which is about
early
adoption. And then getting those early adopters to be invested in your game so they keep it going, so they keep funding it over a long period of time. So that's the model they're going for. And by splitting everyone up to having 3 disparate player bases, that's not a good start to creating a thriving community that's going to keep the game alive. But that's the argument I'm making.
I think this whole year, This whole year is a beta for them.
I don't even think we're going to see crossplay because I don't think this game is going to last that successfully until November. I genuinely don't.
That is,
and I don't think that. I think they might sack the idea off before November.
That is a very, very juicy trait, dude.
I'm only saying that because we've had big publishers like bring out like multi-million-dollar games, and they've barely lasted a year. And we're looking at like 9 months for an indie company on a game that's pretty niche already. That doesn't have like a strong IP like Marvel attached to it, which also failed. Destiny 2 struggling to keep numbers up now with the live service model. Like, it's pretty like this is a dying model, and they're just announcing it now, and nothing works. And it's just like, I can't. If they're relying on this to be a steady stream of income, I don't see how they're going to get enough to warrant building something like crossplay, and which requires like server hosting and things like that. It's just bonkers.
I mean, and then I guess you've got the whole thing here, like back in the before times, before Blood Bowl 2020, right? We had to bounce back to Blood Bowl 1 to spam games to play Khorne, and then bounce into Blood Bowl 2 to spam games to play other things, and that was fine. Like that kind of functionality worked. On the one hand, I don't mind the game. How do you feel about the game launching with 12 teams? Let's pretend the game worked.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I do have a general thought on this, so I'll let you carry on. I'll give you my general overview on what I think about this. But yeah,
I think it was fine to not have everything in at the start. You sort of expect it with DLC and detail. I think the fact that it's probably going to be DLC, monetization, as doubled on top of each other, small issue, but I didn't expect it to have all of the teams in the start. I'd like to think it'll get to having all the teams in at the rate they're going. I think it's 4 years it's going to take to get there.
Yeah, what we're at 12 teams. 4 years will be 16 teams. It takes up to 28. Let's say they don't add Slan. Let's say they don't add any more new teams. They just replace the 4 teams of Legend at a rate of 1 a year, which seems more and more likely. 4 years from May, we will potentially have all of the teams available for Blood Bowl, which I just like. I don't. It's not great, but it's not the worst. I don't know, Ben. What were you gonna go into?
So I was gonna just say that it's kind of an overview of how I feel about it. That's why I didn't want to just throw this one out too early. But it's the more I look at this, the more I just think like, why don't they just update Blood Bowl 2? Why did they have to make a whole new game? They had Blood Bowl 2 just update the rule system as an optional setting in the game, make it default. Great.
A new mode.
A new mode.
Make it a DLC. Would you like to pay a £15 DLC to be able to play actual Blood Bowl now?
Like Overwatch 2 did this, where that also came with some, backlash. But Overwatch 2, they were just like, okay, we're making a sequel to Overwatch. It's just going to update Overwatch. It's going to be free to play. Here's a new monetization platform, which I think is garbage. Like, I think this one's kind of garbage. But here's a new monetization platform. But they didn't remake a game and then give you half the content. They had what they had and built upon it. And so it means all that old stuff they had done still exists inside the new ecosystem. I think with this game, that would have been cheaper, easier, better, and more people would be playing it. And I look at this being as broken as it is and thinking, I like the new system. I like Blood Bowl 2020, but I'd much rather play Blood Bowl 2 right now. And I think that's pretty bad if that's how you're trying to get people to adopt this live service system early. And I can't be the only one who thinks that.
No, dude. I don't think there's a single person out there who's saying that Blood Bowl 2 isn't better. There is a lot of people saying, dude, Blood Bowl 2 was garbage when it landed, and it took a good 2-3 years to be...
There was no real alternative. Like Blood Bowl was
1.
A Chaos Edition.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, but Blood Bowl 2 improved upon it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, you're not wrong. And it's quite funny. I was on the stream and I kind of likened it. I was like, this is, Blood Bowl 3 is like Turok 3, right? Turok is the same as Turok 1 and Turok 3. There's just different guns and different dinosaurs. It's the same. It's the same game. And I don't know if it's just because they've got the potential of chucking it into the Unreal Engine that they've gone, do you know what? We can use that. We can just chug it in there because it sounds really simple. We've got to put board game rules into the Unreal Engine. Like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, go for it. It's a board game. How hard could it be to program? And I guess harder than they thought, or they've cut corners, or because quite frankly, like paying loads of microtransactions for a game that works is a moral choice, and that's the issue in the game sphere, right? And that's fine, but fundamentally, this is running. I don't mind the idea of the Blood Pass. I love the idea of the official ladder resetting. Like, what they set out to do, amazing. Just none of it works. And I'm really disappointed.
I think it's the general consensus of how we feel about it. It's just we're disappointed. Like, it's difficult to... I can see why some people feel it's like entitled, but I think there is a sense of entitlement considering they charged the extra money.
Well, we paid real video game money for it, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the entire and it's just at a point now where it's been delay after delay after delay, and then what we've got isn't done yet, and they're just like, here you go, it's done. I'm just like, well, what was the point in all those delays then? If you're going to release this, you could have released this when we went to beta.
I don't know, man. This is better than the okay. This is better than the beta, although
I'm more disappointed with it now.
I am
because
too,
the beta was a beta.
Yeah, this isn't much better than the beta. So interesting moral story here. So Tiff has got Dreamlight Valley. Dreamlight Valley is basically Animal Crossing but in the Disney world. It's a really good little game. It's really fun, and it has got a cloud save system. So if you've got it on the PS4 or you've got it on the Steam Deck or you've got it on the Switch, you can access your save file from wherever and it will load it, which I think is is really good. She paid £60, I think, for the beta version on the Switch. It was an early access version, and she's gone into that, paying real money to play the game early, to be a part of the people who report the bugs, and just like she accepts that like this is a work in progress and that they want the game to be free in the long run. But she's like, well, I'm happy to pay now to get it a year early, knowing that it's not going to be perfect and that things are going to get fixed along the way. I look at that, and Tiff's becoming more and more of a gamer, but like she's gone into that paying tier 1 gaming money, in my opinion, like 60, 70. Ow, bit my lip. Well, it's a terrible day. That's a proper game release, right? That's actual finished game, and she knows that the game's being worked on, being fixed, and just knowing that is on board with it being squiffy. And I think if they just
I'm looking at it now, you can even get it like if you get just like the entry level tier, it's currently on sale for £19 on PC. That's like,
yeah, well, she bought in way early.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And she was like, I'm happy to pay this because I want to be a part of this because it looks like fun. And I feel like this could have been exactly the same thing. Like, even if they'd just been like the first year, I don't know, I think they just checkmated themselves. And I think this game is not going to be ready for 2 years. I think in 2 years' time, Blood Bowl 3, if it has survived, Ben, to your point, is going to be... what we're going to be in 2 years' time, we're going to be at 20 teams. The rulebook launched with 21 teams, right? For 2020. So we get to that point. I actually think it's going to be a thriving place. We're going to see some great tournaments. We're going to see some brilliant builds, some brilliant brews. It's just... 2 more years if it survives. It's just not where I want to be when I've spent 45 quid on a game.
Yeah, although you can, it is worth noting that Steam does let you refund during a pre-order period, regardless of hours played. So, or up to 2 hours when the game comes out, when this podcast will come out. If you've played less than 2 hours and you don't like it, you can refund it within 2 weeks. That's the Steam policy, at least.
There's a lot of spam about that. Like, yeah, got it refunded. Yeah, got it refunded. And I mean, ultimately, you know, in a couple of weeks, this could be perfectly playable. If not great, but perfectly playable.
Yeah, so I really hope that we can just get in and play games. I mean, we set up an open ladder for the Discord guys to get into.
That is a high bar.
All I wanted to do was just have a few fun games against some other people. I'd love to see the players skill up, but actually, if I've got to wait a little bit for that and I can only skill up through MVP, then that's annoying, but it will work. But I just would like to start a game knowing that there's a pretty good chance it's going to finish.
Why is that such a big ask? Tell me I'm being unreasonable here.
No, well, the last 24 hours, I've had trouble doing anything other than watch the goblin go round and round and round, which it's just annoying.
Yeah, games have rough launches. This is true, but games don't charge 20 quid for rough launches. That is not true. And if they do, and it's been rough, I would honestly, I'm saying this from a consumer perspective, I really do think Cyanide should refund the Brutal Edition because I don't think that's quite good value for money. I don't think the game's really been properly playable for that. As in not refund the game, but refund the extra money.
Yeah, because it's not even a day one patch they've had to bring out. It's a day minus one.
Minus one
patch they've had to bring out to make it playable.
Honestly, it feels like, what is going on in the game sphere at the moment? It's like Wizards and Games Workshop and Nacon or Cyanide or whatever are just having a cheeky little race to the bottom.
This really reeks of publisher pressure. It really reeks of just like publisher crunch, where they've had a deadline that they've promised to some people and they've said to the developers, get this out by this deadline. Doesn't matter what the state. Well, they probably do say it doesn't matter what the state is.
Fiscal year 22-23.
Exactly.
Like, it's got to go now.
Got to release it now, mate, or Games Workshop will redesign the game on you.
And they're just like, okay, so here's the thing. The publisher's like, here's the thing we need. Okay, so we're making a Blood Bowl game. Number one, microtransactions. Let's get in the costumes. Number two, probably make a game. It's gross. I think the saddest point is like I boot up the game and I'm just like, I don't really want to play this. Which is really sad because before it I was like super keen.
Well, I said to you guys in our little Bonehead chat, didn't I? I was like, I had a real moment of like a high and then a crashing, crippling low, where I was super excited to get to play the game, and that was really cool. And then the stream was an absolute brilliant moment. Yeah, it was crunchy and clunky and took a while to get going, but actually I had a great time, played a great game, and I was like, this is fantastic. And then yesterday, oh man, it's been a long couple of days. I imagine that my toothache has had, I imagine it's making me a lot more negative than I normally am. But I took a print of some dungeon pieces off, and then I chatted with the Patreons about the Dungeon Bowl roster. And I was just sitting there in the lounge and I was like, I just love Blood Bowl. And I really cannot be bothered with Blood Bowl 3 this week because it doesn't work. And I'm just way more excited about making a dungeon, filming some dungeon games, talking with people about rosters and playing tabletop, which was really good because that Monday I was like, wow, we could have a really good time. We could have some really good fun streaming more Blood Bowl 3. This is going to be like a really cool extra kind of angle. And then it came down to it on Tuesday and I was like, well, I really just want to level up my Skaven team, but I've really given up now trying to play this game. And I wouldn't connect to anything online. And I was like, well, I just don't know. And it made me like have such a renewed love of the tabletop space that we live in, because it can feel better. I know we talk about this a lot on trips, you with your wisdom. Blood Bowl can feel fast paced with the releases and the rules and the tournaments, and then you kind of take a step back and you're like, yeah, it's really a good pace. And I was, like we haven't had a team in 6 months. And actually, what's changed? A couple of FAQ bits and some cool new star players. I'm like, okay, well, and there's us going like, oh man, we haven't really had a chance to try out Estelle, and we haven't really had a chance to try Drawl and Dribble yet, and they've been out for weeks. And it's like, the pacing of that is just absolutely fine. Like, chill your beans, Ben. This is fine. And I think Blood Bowl 2, what we see is Blood Bowl 2, right? Blood Bowl 2 is solved. This is why I was so excited to move to the new realm, is because Blood Bowl 2 is solved. The rosters are solved, and you can see it, and it's really interesting to me as a gamer. I've dabbled with like competitive gaming and stuff, and one of the things I used to find absolutely interesting, alluring, and also abhorrent about old school Blood Bowl was that the rosters were solved as you like, and that the games became set piece openers, which is on the one hand really interesting, but at the same time, if it's 6 years later, you're playing the same build against another version of exactly the same build where nothing has changed, and your opening move is exactly the same. It's just kind of like to the point where I'm like, well, maybe this does need a bit of a refresh. And this was that opportunity to take loads of those players who had honed their skill at set piece opening moves and bring them into a different version of it where there is a new format to explore. I was like, I am salivating at the thought of that. And it not being there, and then me being like, I can go and try and film some Blood Bowl 3 games, or I can just carry on doing what we were doing, which was talking with people about stuff that no one's done before, like what rosters, how do we do this, what dungeon, like let's build this, I don't know, I was just like, wow, I'm excited to spam Blood Bowl 3 eventually, but just the tournaments we've been to, that we've run, the events and the series that we've put time and effort into making, it's just so much better. Like, so much better. And I am going to bring this again round to Magic, because this weekend, the Magic Pro Tour was back in paper. And Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, I got to watch a tabletop tournament with top Magic players, and it was incredible. And between that and the XFL not sucking, in fact, it was awesome, I came away from this whole weekend being like, wow, tabletop is back. Magic tabletop is back. Being in real places with real people. It's slower, but it is enriched on a level that I, until now, haven't really appreciated since March 2020, if you know what I mean. And that's an awesome thing. I was so happy about that. I was like, you know what we get to do, how we get to play Blood Bowl in League with the stresses and tournaments of the laughter and the builds and the bomber and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, that is its own reward. That is its own experience. And even if Blood Bowl 3 is not good at all, even slightly, Blood Bowl 2020 still has so much exploring to do on the tabletop, and the pacing between tabletop and Blood Bowl 3 is going to be very different, because Blood Bowl 3 is going to get solved quickly, but it's only going to get solved within its own mini meta, which I think is just really interesting. But there's so much to do on the tabletop that we're actually just fine.
Yeah,
it's only 22 days as we talk till Warhammer World 7, so really ought to start locking those rosters down.
Oh, 3, is that right? Wow, 3 weeks today. We'll be going up in the Rickmobile.
Yeah, didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I need to paint a rat ogre. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, I think that was basically my final thought on Blood Bowl 3, is that it's not ready right now, but Blood Bowl's still amazing right now.
Yeah, I know we come across as sounding salty, because kind of are, but I am saying it from a point of pretty much why I get salty about a lot of things in the hobby that I technically love. It's because I do love them, and I really want them to succeed, and everything we've seen so far is setting this up to not succeed. And that's what makes me disappointed and sad. Is I'm just like, I really want this to thrive. I'd love to play like Blood Bowl 3 on my Steam Deck comfortably with everyone. And the fact it's making it difficult to do that, and I think all the decisions they're making is going to just really turn around and bite them. That's what makes me worried about it. But
yeah, you can forgive mistakes, but you can't always forgive bad decisions.
Exactly. Yeah.
How about you, Trips? Final thoughts on the Blood Bowl 3 catastrophe?
So I'm going to remain positive that there is a game that can be played, and it is going to get there in the not too distant future. It is definitely missing a lot of the base functionality that we wanted. And I really hope that by the time we come around to have this conversation at the end of May, when season 1 has actually started, we actually want to play it and we're playing it through. And if that's the case, then we'll forget the 3 months and we'll move on from it. I'm just going to remain hopeful and positive that is where we're going to get to.
I think fundamentally you are bang on the money, sir. I think in a period of time, this is going to be a meme that doesn't even matter anymore. That's what I'm really hoping for. Genuinely, this did happen with Blood Bowl 2. I think, yeah, and I think 3-6 months time, Blood Bowl 3 is going to be a really exciting part of what we do, and a really exciting part of Blood Bowl as it is. And this is going to be kind of like a funny little thing that we can kind of forget and move on with.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really, really hope so. Anyway, I think it's probably about time we wrapped up this insane positivity. But Ben, you called it right. This is just something we love, and doesn't sit right with anybody. And, we will encourage you out there to, if you don't want to play it, get your refund if you can. Otherwise, come back in a few weeks and see what's going on. You'll hear about it. And if that's no good, come back in a few months. But for now, play Fumble. If you want to play Blood Bowl proper on the digital space, go to a tournament, go to a league if you want to play it in the real world space. And if you want to get some serious reps in with 90 to 95% the same rules, Blood Bowl 2 is still a brilliant place to go. And yeah, there's loads of Blood Bowl to be had. But for now, we shall bid you adieu. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.